Okay, let's call this meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Chester? Here. Mr. Cho?
Here.
Ms. McLaughlin?
Here.
Ms. Uteman? Mr. Warmbrad?
Here.
Mr. Weiskopf?
Here.
And Mr. Welch.
Okay, we have a quorum. We need to appoint a acting chairman. If somebody would like to move that I do this, we could move along, I guess.
I move that Mr. Warmbrad be the acting chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, I'm the acting chairman. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are none.
Okay, if you'd like to take a few seconds to look over the minutes of the meeting, anybody find any corrections or additions that they'd like to add? If not, a motion would be in order to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the draft of the April 20th, 2016 minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion passed. The minutes are approved. Okay. Any written communications?
We did receive one written communication, but that's part of the new public hearing, so.
All right. And no continued public hearings?
Correct.
Okay. Well, at this point, anybody who's in the audience who will testify or might testify, we need to swear you in, please. So if you could stand and put up your right hand. And do you swear that the testimony that you give before this body shall be truthful and as accurate as possible?
I do.
Thank you. Okay, we have case ZBA 2016 minimum dash 01. Thank you.
Good evening. Okay, so this case is a request for a minor variance at 1009 South Douglas Avenue to allow a garage extension to encroach 1 foot 3 inches into the required 5-foot side yard. That's a 25% reduction, and it's a minor variance which can be approved by a majority vote of the zoning board. If you look at Exhibit A in your packets or on the screens in front of you, you'll see that the property is located on the west side of Carl Park on South Douglas Avenue. It's surrounded pretty much all by single-family residential, and all of the surrounding zoning, as you'll see in Exhibit B, aside from the park, is R2 single-family residential. This property contains a single-family home with an attached single-car garage, and they've been at their present location since at least the early 70s, and they are legally non-conforming as they already encroach into the required 5-foot side yard by 1 foot 3 inches. Now, the applicant would like to extend the existing garage closer to the street, so to the east, by about 2 feet, and that would extend the south wall of the garage, which is already encroaching into the side yard, by 2 feet to the east. In the application, I think it's the 4th page from the end, you can see on the site plan, I can zoom in here, so you can see what they're proposing to do. This pink area is the extension of the garage. East is to the bottom on this site plan. So you see they're just trying to extend that garage by 1 foot 10 inches to the south. that extension would encroach still into that required 5-foot side yard, and hence the reason for this variance request. Extending the garage to conform to the requirements of the zoning ordinance would probably be onerous, as it would require offsetting the wall of that south wall of the garage to keep it out of the required yard, and then they'd probably have to widen the garage door. So if you look on the last, I think this is the last or second to last page of your packet, you can see the existing garage door. I believe it's 9 feet wide. So really, to make this conforming, you'd have to have a new wall here where the hand is at, and then you might need to cut out more over here. So really, as I mentioned, it would probably be onerous to require that. So I'm going to run quickly through the variance criteria regarding this case. So criteria number 1 is that the proposed variance will not serve as a special a special privilege, because the variance requested is necessary due to special circumstances. If you go back and look at the land use map in Exhibit A, it has an aerial photograph on there. And if you look at all the other properties on the block, none of them have attached garages, and that the same goes for most of the West Urbana neighborhood. So there are very few houses with attached garages in the neighborhood. So this is sort of a special case. In addition, if you have a detached garage, you can build it up to 18 inches from the property line. But since it's attached, you can't build it that close. The second variance criteria is that the variance requested was not knowingly or deliberately created, or the situation was not created by the petitioner. Again, the house and the garage were built before 1973, so as long before the petitioners acquired the property. Number 3 is that the variance request will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. Really, it's just extending the garage out a little bit further to the east. The roof line of the garage would change slightly to match up with the rest of the roof line in back of the house. So you see now it's got a little more of a straight roof line to match the roof line in back. And it really, we don't feel that it is likely that would alter the essential character of the neighborhood. Number 4 is that the variance will not cause a nuisance to the adjacent property. The property owner to the south has submitted, and that's the one communication that I mentioned earlier, Exhibit E, Felisa Reynolds submitted a letter that said that she has no objection to the project, so we don't feel that it would cause a nuisance to Ms. Reynolds. And number 5 is that the variance represents the minimum deviation necessary from the zoning ordinance, necessary to accommodate the request. And really, we feel that this does represent the minimum because it's just extending the existing garage wall further to the east. So it is the minimum that is necessary. So the Zoning Board of Appeals in this case has 3 options. You can approve the variance, you can approve the variance with certain terms and conditions, or you can deny the variance. Staff recommends that the Zoning Board of Appeals approve the minor variance in case ZBA 2016-MIN-01. I can answer any questions you have. The petitioners are out of town, but their contractor is on hand to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions of staff this time?
Thanks.
Thank you. Would the petitioner care to speak? Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to speak in favor of this minor variance? Please come up. Thank you. If you'd state your name and then sign in on that piece of paper right there, please.
Susan Taylor, 606 West Michigan Avenue, a neighbor. And I have a question. I guess that fits the moment, right? The question is about, not so much about this, which sounds as if it makes good sense. It doesn't sound as if it's going to disturb anybody or anything, except to make it more comfortable for the owners. But there are two houses to the south that are both for sale. And there will be construction and stuff. So I believe that the owner, who is not here, but I've never met the owner, might be, I don't know, what do you do with with people who are changing things when two houses beside them are for sale? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't affect the zoning board, but I went by because I live so close, and I didn't know anything about the meeting because I haven't been paying attention to things. But I read the sign, and I understood the sign to say that you were meeting tonight, so I thought I'd come and see what's going on in the neighborhood, if I may. That's all. So.
Well,
And-
do we know anything about what's going on in the neighborhood? I don't think we probably do unless there's been some
Well,
zoning
the
or,
letter was from the one house that is for sale, next door that's for sale, right?
Yeah, and the one south of that is for sale.
And that one's just totally empty.
Excuse me?
That one's empty. There's
Yeah,
nobody
they're
there.
both empty, as far as I can tell.
Oh.
And I didn't know, and so I did find something out about the neighborhood. Been watching the one on the corner, which is the next one over, and I had no idea that was rezoned or whatever for 4 people, 4 units. So I'm living and learning, but I just wondered.
yeah, I don't think we can answer that question. We don't have any knowledge of that,
No.
so.
Well, I don't mean to disrupt things because it looks like I've lived there for about almost, 45 years, just a block away.
Mhm.
And we do worry more about Lincoln Avenue coming on in with, but that's not the issue tonight. So,
All right,
thank you very much.
thank you.
Did you say address or did you just say name?
I think just your name, yes.
You know my address.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Does anybody on the board have any questions for anybody at this point? I guess a motion would be in order then at this point.
I move that we approve ZBA case 2016-MIN-01.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. McLaughlin,
Yes.
Mr. Warmbrun,
Yes.
Mr. Weiskopf,
Yep.
and Ms. Chester.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 5-0, so it's a done deal. Do we have any old business? New business? Is there any more audience participation? Staff report? Study session? Okay.
I do have
You have,
one comment. I don't know where to put it, but I
you
guess
put it
study
right
session.
now, it'll be fine.
I had the opportunity to go to, I don't know who organized it, but I believe it was RPC, Regional Planning Commission, and it was about, I guess, our role as ZBA commissioners, and I think it also included plan commissioners. But I highly recommend if there is another opportunity to take this I don't know, evening session. I recommend that it be required of all commissioners and appointed zoning officials, just because of how helpful it was, and it really explains our role. Because I know per the previous meeting that it did become out of scope in some instances, so I do believe that this should be something that would be required, and I'd ask that maybe staff look into that and maybe find out if that can be made happen. That's it.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, this meeting's adjourned then.